Thanks for downloading this episode from Teachers Talk Radio. You can find the full schedule and listen back to all our shows at ttradio.org. Enjoy the podcast.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Don't miss out. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles. Use the code JCTTR2425 for 20% off your order. Happy reading.
Reading Solutions UK. Are you looking for best practices and innovative strategies to foster confident, lifelong readers? Join the free online International Reading Conference on the 11th, 12th and 13th of June. Hear from speakers like TV personality and education expert Basit Siddiqui, beloved children's author Michael Rosen, fluency expert Tim Rosinski, EEF specialist Chloe Butlin, the National Literacy Trust's Irene Picton, and a range of experienced practitioners, including MATS leaders, deputy heads, heads of English, high-level teaching assistants, and school librarians. Through the 3-day conference, speakers will explore a range of topics at the forefront of the current educational landscape, with sessions relevant for all educators and key stages. Visit Reading Solutions at readingsolutionsuk.co.uk for more information and to sign up for this free conference.
This is Teachers Talk Radio, and you are listening live.
Good evening. I am Aramide Oluwa. Thank you for joining me on the Sunday Twilight Show on Teachers Talk Radio. It is Sunday, 26th of May, 2024, and my guest, Fasanya Damilari, will be joining me as we talk about how to help students maximize their potentials.
This is Teachers Talk Radio, and you are listening live. Tune in live at ttradio.org, or to join in the conversation, download the Podbean app and search Teachers Talk Radio. Follow the hashtag TTRadio. Tune in, talk it out with Teachers Talk Radio.
Okay, thank you for joining once again. You're welcome to today's Twilight Show. Today we'll be talking about how to help students maximize their potentials. Myself and every listener out there, we've all been students and we are still students in life. We'll be talking about how we can help students generally, those in primary school, secondary school, or higher institutions. How can we help them maximize their potentials? How can we help them get to know who they are and what they have, the things they have inside of them? How can they get to know all this? So these are the things that we'll be talking about today. So my guest will be joining us shortly. His name is Fasanya Damilari. He holds a master's degree in managerial psychology from the University of Lagos, Nigeria. He also has a background in education. He believes young learners can maximize their potentials if nurtured, guided, and if given the right environment to thrive. So in a short while, Mr. Fasanya will be joining us. Mr. Fasanya Damilari is a teacher. He has a master's degree in managerial psychology from the University of Lagos, Nigeria. He's a teacher who works with Ejut College, Lekki, Lagos, Nigeria here. So I have him on the show, but I'm quite hopeful that the internet would not mess up this show. So I'm waiting for him to call in so that we can kickstart the show for tonight and for this evening. So as I said earlier on, we've all been students in junior school, senior school, higher institution. At some point in time or at some point in our lives, I'm sure we've been faced with one challenge or the other. We'll be faced with things such as not recognizing what we have, where other people get to tell you, oh, this is what you can do, this is what you can't do. So these are the things we would be talking about today in the show.
Good evening, Mr. Aramide. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Well,
What a
thank you so
great
much for
privilege for
joining
me to
us.
be here this evening
Okay,
to discuss how
thank
student can. Thank you very much. Right.
yeah, thank you so much for coming to the show this evening. So I already read out of profile while you were not here. I
Saying
introduced
hi
you.
to all the listeners. Okay.
Come again. You said?
So I'm just saying hi to all the listeners joining on today's show,
Okay.
saying good
Okay, you're
evening,
welcome.
everybody.
All right. I'm sure they can all hear you. Thank you. Once again, Mr. Fasan Yadamilare holds a master's degree in managerial psychology from the University of Lagos, Nigeria, with a background in education. He believes young learners can maximize their potentials if nurtured, guided, and if given the right environment to thrive. So, Mr. Damilare, let's start with you. Why did you decide to be a teacher? Would like to know.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Aramide, for that question. At first, I didn't want to be a teacher. Maybe because of the pay and their social status. I didn't want to become one, but I always find myself teaching all the time. Either I'm teaching classmates or
Mm-hmm.
teaching in the church, teaching. I just found myself teaching. So I didn't know I was called to teach or I was fashioned to teach until I wrote my JAM examination. That's the tertiary examination in
Join.
Nigeria.
Okay.
A friend just advised me I should pick education. I didn't want to do it. I even wanted to cross in my part one in the university. I wanted to change my course from economics education to economics because I didn't want teaching. But I just found myself. I kept on pushing until I became a teacher. That was when I discovered that I was wired to be a teacher. So it's been a journey. It's not been smooth. Okay, it's not been smooth, but I discovered myself in the career that I was wired. I was made for this, and I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying teaching. I couldn't imagine
Wow.
finding myself in another career doing any other thing. So
Wow.
that's why that's how I
That's so
came in
amazing.
teaching, not because I planned to teach, but God orchestrated my path into teaching, and I can't thank Him enough for that because I found
Wow.
my calling. I found fulfillment in teaching, and I
Wow.
will always
Wow.
want to do that again.
Wow, that's amazing. That's such a wonderful story. I think it's almost like mine too. Although I wanted to study what I actually wanted to study was mass communication, but my parents, especially my mom, was against it. She wanted me to study banking and finance. So as God will have it, when I also wrote my JAM, that's the Joint Matriculation Examination Board in Nigeria. So when I wrote the exam, by the time I was given admission, I found myself that the course had been changed. I think the government, so to say, changed the course, and I found that I was given educational management. Although before then, I had always had passion for teaching, especially teaching young children, like teaching teenagers, preteens, and all. So yeah, I did you always believe in yourself? Like, for you to be a teacher, that means you have what it takes to stand before people to impact knowledge, to share what you know. And that means what you know is not just an ordinary thing, it's not just you know out of the surface. You can't be a shallow person and then stand as a teacher. It won't work. So did you always believe that you could do it? Did believe or did you believe in yourself? Did you believe you have any potential at all?
I didn't believe in myself while I was in secondary school. I was very timid, and I had a small stature. Okay, so and to make it worse, people call me Smally. Okay, there's a name they call
Oh
me
my
in my
god.
tradition. Small. Okay, so It's just like the power of the tongue. Okay, just like someone who is small and you're still calling him smally. So everything about the person will just be small. Okay, so I didn't believe in
Mm-hmm.
myself. I didn't have the confidence I need for life. I was not there. Okay, but it got to a point that I found myself. I discovered myself. But at the onset, it wasn't so. There was no one to help me believe in myself, to help with my self-esteem, to give me that courage that I can do. But I believe I had potential as a man. I had possibilities. Okay, I believe then, but
Um,
there was no one to help me. Coupled with the father, the environment in which I lived. There's always this debate in psychology, nature and
mm-hmm.
nurture background determines a lot. And also, we also believe that if you find the right person, if you find the right environment, your background doesn't have to put your back on the ground. Okay, so I had
True.
the I had the challenge of low self-esteem while I was growing up, no confidence, no one to mentor, no one to help, uh, no one that believed in my potentials. But in the later on, I overcame it. Okay, I overcame it. But I would like to share that maybe later in the show. All right. So,
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Let's quickly hear. Let's quickly hear. Let's listen to a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Reading Solutions UK. Are you looking for best practices and innovative strategies to foster confident, lifelong readers? Join the free online International Reading Conference on the 11th, 12th, and 13th of June. Hear from speakers like TV personality and education expert Basit Siddiqui, beloved children's author Michael Rosen, fluency expert Tim Rosinski, EEF specialist Chloe Butlin, the National Literacy Trust's Irene Picton, and a range of experienced practitioners, including MAT leaders, deputy heads, heads of English, high-level teaching assistants, and school librarians. Through the three-day conference, speakers will explore a range of topics at the forefront of the current educational landscape, with sessions relevant for all educators and key stages. Visit Reading Solutions at readingsolutionsuk.co.uk for more information and to sign up for this free conference.
Okay. So I would like to ask one more question before we go fully into the topic, which is how to help students. How can students maximize their potential? So I want to ask, was there any teacher who helped you, on the way into discovering yourself? Was there any teacher that played a very, very important role?
yeah, though not a school teacher, okay, though not a school teacher, but I consider him as my teacher. Okay, he was able to call he was able to call out the potentials in me. He was able to call the who that is in me. Okay, he was able to call it out through teachings. Okay, but he wasn't my school teacher. He wasn't my school teacher. It was a separate arrangement. Okay, that I found myself in, and he was able to call out those things in me. In school, while in school,
Okay.
sorry, I would say no. I didn't have the privilege to have a teacher call out that in me. That's why I took it up as a ability to give back to my students. Okay, anytime they will not go through my class or they will now pass through me in form of going through my classes without discovering who they are.
In your own words, can you just give us a description of potentials? What do you think potential means?
Okay, I will just say possibilities. Okay, all the possibilities in learners. Okay, uh, the prospect in them, the prospect that they have, the giftings that they have, the possibilities that they have, that can be nurtured, that can be
Are
called
you with
out.
me?
Okay, if given if given the right environment, given the right attention, all these possibilities Okay, it can look like a mystery. Okay, I know uh, uh, this guy has this gift, but I don't know what it is. I cannot say what this guy has, but I know there's a seed of greatness in this student. I know there's a seed of greatness in this learner, but I don't know what it is. So that's potential. It is latent. Okay, you might not. It might be hidden. Okay, there's something about that learner. There's something about every learner that comes uh, to you, or that passes through you. Okay, so you just have to know that everyone has a seed of greatness in them, and you put on that responsibility to call out the greatness in them. So I think simply say potentials are possibilities, prospects that students have that they can maximize if given the right
Um,
environment and attention.
I love that. I love that that what you said, possibilities. You said potentials are possibilities. I really love that. So I think for me growing up I knew I had potentials, but I couldn't just find it was difficult for me to find the right way to go about it. It was difficult for me to find someone that would guide me through, or someone that would tell me, oh, you're good at this, you're good at this. Everybody just saw me as a talkative. On my report card, every end of term, my teachers would always put it there as a comment that Aramide is a talkative, she's a talkative, but no one actually says, oh, this girl might be good in
Mhm.
this girl has this thing in art. They were all just full of comment, like, teachers comment. Just that's why I feel teachers should not just put comment like just for putting sake. It should actually be it could be a positive comment with some criticism, but at least let this child know that he or she has something that could be developed. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me, sir?
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I remember one of the comments my secondary school teacher put in my results. She said, "Very obedient, but too quiet." Okay, but too quiet. So I looked at it. Too quiet. Okay, that could be my strength. Okay, when I'm quiet, I can think. I can be creative. I can be innovative. That's one of my strengths. Okay, I look for a quiet place, think out, be creative. But she saw it as my weakness. Okay, my weakness. Just need to do a lot about identifying what their student possess. Okay, so that they can help
Okay.
them grow in that area. We need to help them to find their strength. When you discover their strength, teach them, mentor
Yeah.
them, help them to grow in that area,
Sure.
give them strategies to maximize their strengths. Okay, so I
Sure.
agree with you. Teachers, we need to do more. We need to do more when it is time for comments. I know
Mm-hmm.
that time is always end of the term. Always want to rush the comment. We want to put
Just
he
to
for
quickly
she
fill in
for he,
something.
and you know it's always tedious, but we just have to do it. What is worth doing is worth doing well.
Is what doing
Find
well.
what is good about that student, uh, amplify what is good about the student, and state what the student needs to work on. That's fine, but not writing, not knowing the strength, just saying,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, this student that can talks too much, disturbs in class." That's not what parents wants to hear from us.
True.
That's not what they want to receive from us. How is my child doing? How is he or she faring? What can I work on? What can I improve on? And what can I help her with? That's what parents want to hear from us. I think we need to do more on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so I would like for us to talk about some of the challenges faced by students, because there are so many challenges out there. Each student is peculiar. We're all different. Just the same way our index finger can never be the same with another person's index finger. That's the same way every individual on the surface of earth is different. So there are many challenges. We might not be able to even cover all the challenges, but can we just talk about some of the challenges faced? I for one, even though I was a talkative at the point, I I suffered from low self esteem at the point. Even though I said earlier that my teacher would always put in comment section that Aramide is a talkative, she talks too much at the end of every term. Like at the end of every term, my teacher would always write the comment that I am a talkative. She didn't really tell me, oh, this is the potential, this gift that she had. The
Hello.
Aramide is brilliant, but she's a talkative. She's a talkative. That majorly is what I hear. So I want us to talk about the challenges faced by students. At the point, I started suffering from low self-esteem because I had been told I talk too much. So at the point, I had to, I started, even as young as I was, I had to start working on um my talkativeness. I had to start thinking of, oh, let me be quiet. Otherwise, they will call me a talkative. You get what I'm saying? So one of the challenge I've noticed is low self-esteem. If you agree with me, Mr. Damilari, do you agree with me that low self-esteem is a major challenge
It's
faced
a
by
major challenge. It's a
students? Do you
major
agree with me, Mr.
challenge
Damilari?
for, yeah, yeah,
Good.
Mr. Ramde, you're right. Low self-esteem is a major challenge for students, even for adults.
So,
Is a major challenge. Many adults have not even come out of low self-esteem. They still don't believe in themselves. Okay, so you can imagine if a teacher has a low self-esteem, how does he want to help learners with low self-esteem? If a parent has a low self-esteem, how does he want to raise confident children? Okay, so you can see it's a major issue. Okay, uh, uh, the greatest miracle after salvation is the miracle of self-discovery. Okay, if you discover yourself, knowing who you are. So, and this is what teachers, this is the responsibility of teachers, calling out what is inside of our students, helping them to know who they are, helping them to believe in themselves. It's a major task. Oh, you teach them mathematics, physics, chemistry. That's good. You teach them business studies. That's good. But you have to help them on the area of self-discovery. Self-discovery. If they go out there, no one will ask them what is 2 plus 2. It has to be what can you do? Okay, what gift do you have? What talent do you have? Okay, and that's what we speak out, speak for them out there. Okay, but if they don't believe in themselves, if you teach a learner, he knows mathematics, he knows business studies, but he's not self-confident, he cannot communicate, he cannot socialize. You've not really helped that student. You've not really called out what
true,
is hidden in that student. So
true.
low self-esteem is a major issue. Is a major issue, and I'm on a campaign. I'm on a campaign. How can we help
Against
learners?
it, right?
uh, yes, how can we help learners to overcome this? Putting up talk shows in place so that we can help them come out of low self-esteem. So it's a major
Good.
issue.
I love that.
Um,
I love that. So, is it the same as shyness? Is
right.
low self-esteem the same as shyness?
Someone with low self-esteem can be shy, okay, but sometimes when you're shy, it's not because you have low self-esteem, okay. It's just your nature, okay. When it is time to talk, okay. Uh, for me, I've, I'm no longer there. Okay,
Wow.
it's now a
Beautiful.
bygone. But sometimes I can be shy. Okay, sometimes I can be shy on some matters. But when it is time to speak up, when it is time to talk, when it's time to be outspoken, I am always available to do that. But in some situations, okay, this is not my thing. I just want to be shy. Okay, so you can when you have low self-esteem, there's that possibility that you'll be shy. Okay, but that you're shy doesn't mean you have low self-esteem. Sometimes uh, it's just you're part of your personality. You're just shy. But when it's time to be confident, you can be. All right. Mm.
All right. Thank you. So, another challenge I've noticed is another challenge faced by students actually that can hinder their potential is bullying. How bullying, bullying. I'm happy so many schools now are on a campaign against it. Teachers, NGOs, so many platforms out there raising awareness against bullying. Is it like something we should really, I know bullying is bad, but is it something that can hinder students from shining their lights?
It's a major one after low self-esteem. This one is coming from an external force now. Okay, bullying is from external force. Low self-esteem can be from you. You don't believe in yourself. No one to tell you you are good enough.
True.
You're beautiful. Okay,
It comes
but when it
from
comes to bullying, it's an external force. Okay, it's
from
coming from someone,
outsiders,
from
people
the
around you.
internet,
True.
people around you, cyberbullying, verbal bullying, emotional bullying. Okay, oh, bullying of any sort, it's a major issue, and teachers, we need to be uh, careful of. We need to be serious about safeguarding your student are in class, and someone is talking, one of your students is presenting, and some people are just laughing. That can bring that person down, and the person will not want to present ever again and again. They will not want to present again. So we need to be very careful of
True.
safeguarding. We need to be aware of safeguarding in our classes, around the schools, who is talking our student down. Even it happens, even parents, some parents bully their children. They bully their children uh,
Yeah.
because the way they talk to them. Okay, like someone said today, you don't have to raise your voice, just raise your words. Okay, raise your words, but don't
Hmm.
raise your voice.
Okay.
Children, raise
I
your
love
words.
that. Raise your words, not raise
Emphasize
your
what you're
voice.
trying to emphasize what you're trying to communicate to on that, not your voice. That you are talking loud, that you're shouting at them doesn't mean you're communicating. It doesn't mean they are listening. They want to do what you're saying. They won't do it. But when you emphasize your words and the importance of your words, the worth of your words, it goes down into them to do what you're asking them to do. So bullying is a no for, well, it really affects student maximizing their potentials. It's affected a lot. When I've been talked down, all I just want to do, I want to go back into my shell. I don't want to come out again,
Yeah.
or maybe I ask a
No one to talk to
question and
anyone. Hmm.
let me just be. I think let me just be for the 6 years that I'm going to use in this school. Let me just be. And with that, when the student will be dying, they will be dying inside of them. Everything
Hmm.
God has deposited inside of them, they will know, oh, I can role play, I can act, I can sing. Because someone has said, oh, you have a bad voice. Oh, that was a bad voice. They don't want to do that again. We just have to nip it in the bud if we hear that in our environment, in our school environment, or body shaming. Okay, some student body shame other student. Oh,
Yeah,
you are
that's
big,
that's
you are
quite
fat.
common these days. Body shaming is
And with
quite
that,
common. Mm.
student will just believe, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not beautiful. I'm not looking
Hmm.
good. So let me just, oh, oh, maybe Janice, can you present? No, I can't present. If I come out, they will be looking at my body. We need to pay
Yeah,
attention to bullying around us at home, in school. We have to pay attention. Safeguarding is very, very important. Very, very important. We cannot overemphasize safeguarding for us to bring out the best in our student. I hope that helps.
very
Maybe.
true. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Damilari, for those wonderful points. I think one of the major things that struck me while you were talking was when you said, "Raise your words, not your voice." Now, how do you do that as a teacher? You're trying to teach students. All learners are not the same, and then some are not taking you serious, and some are taking you serious, and you're trying to make them understand that you're trying to pass a message. And so how do you, I don't want us to divert from the topic, but I just want
Yeah,
us to
yeah,
quickly say something about it. So how do you raise your words and not your voice? If in the process of raising your words, you can raise your voice, and then the student might think this person is shouting on
Oh,
me, and then
do you know what they
count
will
it as
say?
bullying.
They will say you're shouting, sir. You're
Mm.
shouting. Okay, and truly you're shouting, and you don't need to
True.
shout because you are the driver of the car or of the
Hmm.
bus. You are the driver.
Beautiful.
It's your rules. Let them know why you want them to do what you're asking them to do. Ask
Hmm.
them If they do otherwise, how will it impact on them? How will it impact on the society or on the community? Okay. So when you let them buy in, we call it buying, but let them buy into the vision, let them buy into
Yeah,
what you're telling them. When they buy into it, they will do it without any stress. They will do it without any also. Okay. But when you're trying
true.
to impose what you want them to do, and this generation, they will ask why, but
They
why?
will ask.
Why can't we? Why can't we run down the stairs? Why can't we? Just tell me, why can't we? Uh, it is break time. We just want to run. Why can't we run? So you ask them questions. So if you run and you collide with someone, so what happens? So you just have to let them buy in. Oh, so let them buy into your vision. Let them buy into what you're trying to communicate to them. With that, they will do it. They will own it. Okay, they will own it,
Mm-hmm.
and when they own it, it becomes part of them. But when you want to raise your voice, shout at them for them to do what you want them to do. Even though if they do it, uh you've not gained their respect, or they've not accorded you the respect uh because they bought into the vision, okay, or into the idea. Okay, they did it because you are in a position to punish them. Okay, you're in a position to
Mm-hmm.
report to the school authority. That's why they will do it.
True. So you also said something the other time. Can you hear me, Mr. Damilare? Okay, you said something the other time. You said parents also bully their children unintentionally or unknowingly. So that brings me to the next issue now that I've realized that family can also be one of the family can also bring about a challenge, that can hinder students from discovering themselves, or shining their light. So I have seen some students that um probably issues in the family, probably parents separated, or parents not even believing in the child. Things like this can actually, you know hinder students that should focus on beautiful things. Some students are, artists. They're very, very creative, but they don't have any. You have this light, shine it properly, shine it well. You know what I'm saying? So I have seen students like that suffered a lot from issues, encountered in their family. So Mr. Damilari, are you still there? Okay. I think the internet locked him out again. So while we're waiting for him to get back in, um, let's just listen to the news from our sponsors. Let's listen to a word from our sponsors. Let's quickly take a quick pause for the news.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Don't miss out. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles. Use the code JCTTR2425 for 20% off your order. Happy reading.
Reading Solutions UK. Are you looking for best practices and innovative strategies to foster confident, lifelong readers? Join the free reading on the 11th, 12th and 13th of June. Hear from speakers like TV personality and education expert Basit Siddiqui, beloved children's author Michael Rosen, fluency expert Tim Rosinski, EEF specialist Chloe Butlin, the National Literacy Trust's Irene Picton, and a range of experienced practitioners, including MATS leaders, deputy heads, heads of English, high-level teaching assistants, and school librarians. Through the three-day conference, speakers will explore a range of topics at the forefront of the current educational landscape, with sessions relevant for all educators and key stages. Visit Reading Solutions at readingsolutionsuk.co.uk for more information and to sign up for this free conference.
This is Teachers Talk Radio, and this is Teachers Talk Radio News.
According to FE Week, Sir Ian Buckham, the interim head of exams regulator Ofqual, is Gillian Keegan's preferred candidate to take on the role permanently. The role of chief regulator will only be confirmed by whoever forms the next government. The current Education Secretary chose to appoint an interim chief regulator for a year after Dr. Joe Saxton stepped down to head up UCAS. Sir Ian began the role in January, and Ms Keegan has put him forward for the full-time role, following approval from the Prime Minister. How the appointment hearing with the Parliamentary the 4th. It leaves a potential new government facing the decision on whether to keep the current Conservative-approved candidate or find an alternative. The Indian Business Standard News website explores the reasons for a drop in numbers of Indian students choosing the UK as their higher education destination. 21,000 fewer master's degree applicants have registered than in previous years, according to official figures.
I was asking that how do you help as a teacher? I know you must have students in your classrooms who suffer from recognizing themselves and the potentials they have inside of them. So how do you help? You must have one or two in your classrooms right now that or probably in the past. So how did you help, or how do you help right now, so that teachers,
Uh,
other teachers out there can you know learn from you?
okay. Oh, I try to give them variety of opportunities after discovering uh, their giftings or their talent. Okay, so I offer different opportunities for them to showcase what they've got inside of them. All right. So I teach business and economics at my workplace. Okay. I simulate my teaching.
Okay.
Okay. I I put a situation. I usually have a boardroom. Okay, even though there is no boardroom in my classroom. So I arrange the classroom in such a way that we have a boardroom session, okay, where we discuss business matters, okay. And those one that I've identified that, okay, this one, uh, he or she can't, doesn't have what, that confidence in herself or doesn't believe in herself, okay, I make them participate in classroom activities. Okay. So what I'm saying is, as teachers, we need to give student variety of opportunities. Let them act. Let there be a debating session in your class, a writing session, a different presentation. Okay. Put them in groups. Let them solve problems together. Let there be role playing in your classroom. This can call out the latent potentials in them. Some of them have stage fright. Okay, they can't talk,
Yeah.
they are not social at all. When you help them with all these opportunities, okay, you're the one that will lead us today. You are the one that will take uh you be the judge today. You'll be the one that will be the secretary, okay, for this group. We're going to write down whatever you discuss in your group, and you will present on behalf of the group. This we call out, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, these opportunities are
Hello.
to pursue uh, whatever God has deposited in them to fine tune it. So I, I give them an environment. I try to create an environment where they can display what God has invested in them. I would like to say that schools should also do that. Schools should also do that. Schools should identify talent in students and present them with platforms, opportunities. School programs should not only be about academics. So yes, academic is very good, is very important, but importantly, we need all these social skills, these life skills that students need to thrive outside there. So that's how I try to
Okay.
help my student. And during a program, a
Thank you.
platform called Jesus Club in my school, we try to help them to find who they are
Thank
and,
you.
maximize their
Thank you.
potentials. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. So, have you ever, you as have you ever faced? I think earlier in the show you said you might share your story. So I think it's time for us to hear it. So, did you face any challenge? How did you overcome it? You know, did you face any challenge with? Okay, I think you shared one earlier. You said you had low self esteem. But what other
Yeah.
challenge did you face in the quest for um, maximizing your potential?
Okay,
What other challenge?
when it comes to communication, I could not communicate. Uh,
Like you
Not
mean, is it
for
when
the
talking
want
to
of
your,
what to
is it when
say.
talking to your peers, or is it when talking to your
When
peers,
talking
or
to
when
my
talking to?
peers, yes,
Okay,
when talking to my peers, when I have to face a crowd, I have something tangible to contribute, something important to contribute. But because of the stage fright or the belief that what would they say about me? How, does it really make sense? So I had that issue. I could not communicate. But gradually, as I began to discover myself, I believe it came to me that your idea is very important. Your idea is needed. Your own contribution is needed in whatever is happening around you. So I began to learn my voice bit by bit. Even though if I raise my hand, it will be as if uh,
like
heaven
the
should
ground
just
want to
fall.
open and swallow you.
Heaven should just fall, or the ground should just open and swallow me. But you see, I would try. I began at meetings, at gatherings. I began raising my hand,
Then
talking.
your voice becomes shaky. Your voice
So
shakes, right?
yes, it becomes shaky, and when I finish, I'll just sit down and But over time, I overcame it. And this is one of the issues that our students are facing. Some of them, if you ask them to write answers, they will write it down. But ask them to
True.
present or to come and stand in front of the class and share their opinion, share their ideas. Because that's what, like I always tell them, you don't have any option. You will always communicate. You will need your communication skills. You will need it. So that you are communicating to your wife, to your children, to your colleagues, to your employer or to your boss. You need to communicate. So
Mm-hmm.
the earlier
True.
you face the challenge, the better for you. So I had that issue, and I'm helping a lot of students come out of it. I notice you don't communicate, you don't want to relate. I put you in a group. You are going to
Good.
work as a group, and you will present. I will purposely choose you. You'll be the one to present for this group. You'll be the one to write whatever you do, discuss
But
in this group. So
but
teamwork.
what if the child doesn't want to,
All right.
and
Um,
you can force,
because
you can use force. So what do you do?
All right. Oh, I think as a teacher, you just have to create a warm environment for your student. Okay. Let them believe. Tell them, I know your fears. Okay, but I want to help you to overcome your fears. Okay. It's not trying to shame you or bring you to the spotlight so that we can laugh. Okay. I know that I've discovered that that's your fear. Okay. But I want to help you to overcome it. Okay. So that's why we are doing this. I let them know as a Cambridge learner, you must be able to communicate. As a Cambridge learner, you must be able to engage socially, intellectually. So, if you want to become one, you just have to go through this. So, as teachers, we have to make our lessons engaging, okay? Help them to learn this
Interactive.
soft skill, interactive, not about us dishing out all the information to them. You talk, even you're learning, you're teaching is very impactful and interesting. If you allow the student to talk, let them do the talking, let them share their opinion, let them communicate, let them interact, let them work as a group, let them solve a problem together. With that, you are not doing much. You are just monitoring them, you are just guiding them, you are just correcting what they are doing. So I face that, and uh, I listened to many tapes. I read many books. So for students to maximize their potentials, they have to read wide. They have to read wide, and we can help them. We can help them. Reading wide helps you to gain information. There's no problem you're facing. There's no challenge you're facing that someone has not faced before. Okay, so you reading or hearing from them helps you to gain confidence to pursue your own your own vision, or to maximize your own potential. So I've faced one before, I overcame it. I believe students who can overcome any challenge, such challenge that I face, that they are facing
Sure.
currently, if we give them the right
Thank you.
platform, right opportunity
Okay.
to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Damlari. I think it's time for us to quickly take a quick a pause and a pause for the show. So
All right, thank you. I'll be
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, publishers of professional development books and resources that support great teaching and learning in schools around the world. Don't miss out. Level up your professional development today and visit johncattbookshop.com to explore the full range of titles. Use the code JCTTR2425.
so earlier on I mentioned one of the challenge faced by students. I think that was the time we about lost internet connection or so. So I said when you were talking about bullying as one of the challenges faced by students that hinders them from discovering themselves or that hinders their potentials, I mentioned that um, family. How does family come into play? Because you said something about parents bullying the children unintentionally or unknowingly. So I want to know how. And then I said some things about. I said, um, when the family is not in order, when probably parent or maybe siblings. So in your own point of view, how do you think family can hinder a well-loaded student with so much to offer, so with so much to share with the world? How can family hinder this thing from coming to be?
uh, okay. I think uh, from the angle that I came in, I said nature and nurture. Okay, nature and nurture. Right. A student might be well loaded, okay, with potentials, right, but there's no right or good environment for that student to thrive. Okay, the parents do not believe in the child, or they don't know how to discover the gifts, okay, or the talent or the potentials hidden in that child, okay, or even if discovered, they don't know how to call it out, okay, or they don't have the resources, okay, to call it out, okay. You know, a child is good at singing, okay. Oh, why don't you put arrangement in place, put resources in place to put her in the right environment, okay. In church, let her join the choir, okay, or she goes for singing classes, or a boy is good at drumming or playing keyboard. So if families have the right resources, okay, you know, money is very important. If they have the right resources to call out the talent, the potentials of these young learners, okay, to call it out, I think they need to do that. Okay. For my own daughter, I've discovered she can sing, she can dance, she can drum, she can draw. So what did I do? I had to get things that would aid the maximization of that uh, the maximization of that potential, or of those gifts and talents. So with that, I think it can help them to maximize their potential. So things at home. You see some students come to school after dad and mom just fought and they are coming to school and expecting teachers to teach them. One of the challenges that teachers face, we are supposed to be everything to the learners, to be parents, to be a doctor, a nurse, a counselor. We do a lot as teachers. We do a lot as teachers to student. Okay, uh, creating the right environment, a peaceful and harmonious environment at home, will help students to have confidence, to have this belief in themselves that, oh, if anything happens, I have a home that I can run to, that I can go back to, where they will cheer me up. Even if someone bullies me at home, I know my dad will always be there for me, to encourage me, to tell me I can do it. If a teacher doesn't believe in me, I know my dad, I know my mom. So parents need to believe in their children. They need to believe in their words. All these children are gifted, they are talented. No, no two of them have the same gifts, no two of them have the same talent, but we just have to identify the differences in them and call it out. Don't let uh, uh, the older sister be like the younger sister, or the younger sister be like the older sister. Okay, oh, you don't want to be like your sister. You don't have to say that. We have individual differences. Let each one discover what they want to be and support them, give them the right environment, the resources, invest in their talent. Let families invest in the talent uh, of their kids, of their words. With this, they can maximize their potentials. I hope I'm able to answer that question.
Yeah, yes. Thank you so much. So the other day I was saying I saw a movie that was based on Ellen Keller. I don't know if you're familiar with her. Okay. So the other day I saw a movie, and then I noticed there was a particular teacher that was working hand in hand with her, and even her family as well. The parents, the parent, the siblings, the teacher especially was there all through Ellen's life. So I think as teachers, we some of us really don't know what we have in our hands. We don't really know that the future of this student is literally in our hands. Family as well. For Ellen to discover what she had, she grew up to become such a very very important person in society, simply because one, a teacher was there for her, the family was there to support all through the way. Family was there to support, parents were there to support, teacher was there to support. So I think as teachers, it's like we have the whole world on our shoulders. Do you agree with me, Mr. Damilare?
Very true, very true, very true. Uh, the society looks upon us, okay? They want us to be everything to all students, okay? To all the students that come across us, okay? And we have a lot to do to help them. A parent might not discover a gift in a child, okay? It might be the teacher that would devote. So it's a lot of commitment. That's why teaching is difficult. Teaching is tasking and cool. Okay, it's very difficult. It's one of the most difficult jobs. Okay, I in Nigeria, most difficult job, but uh, less
You can say
rewarded.
that again.
Less rewarded, okay, because you are molding a society. You are molding a society, not just a life. You are molding a society, because if you invest your time, your resources, your knowledge, your skills uh, in a student, you are not only affecting the student, you are affecting generations, you are affecting a society, you are building the society, the future society. Okay, so I think teachers have a lot to do, and I know it has to come from passion. If a teacher is not passionate about what he or she does,
Yeah,
you
if
cannot
you're not
really
passionate,
deliver.
you can't do much.
You
Yeah.
can't really deliver, because you can't give what you don't have. You can't give what you don't have. So it has to come from the place of passion and compassion. This guy is gifted. This child is gifted. I don't want this gift to waste. I will devote my time. I will devote everything I have at my disposal to help this child. Even the family might not appreciate it. The family might not recognize that at that point in time. But in the future, I know that learner, that student uh, can recognize what you've done for him or her. So we have a lot to do in the society as teachers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Damilari. So I want to ask, have you ever had to work with any, um, you know, special education needs students? Have you ever, I mean, work closely, into helping such a student develop the potential? Have you ever?
I've not worked closely with them, but I've had interactions with them. I've tutored some of them, okay, subject wise, okay, but not working with them as their coach or mentor. But uh, I helped them in my own little way, in the way I could. Words of affirmation, okay, telling them you're good enough, okay. Whatever you set your mind on, you can achieve if only you believe, okay. So all those words are. Uh, I've forgotten the girl's name now, but she always writes me every end of term. Thank you for believing in speaking
Wow.
good words to me. Thank you for helping me to believe in myself. You know, it goes a long way. It goes a long way when you receive notes from students that notes that says, "You've done this for me. You've helped me. You've encouraged me when I was down. You motivated me. You did this." So, working with special education needs students, it means yes, they are special. They have their own differences, they have their own strengths and their weaknesses, and you just have to come at their own level. Give them tasking challenges, okay, but come meet them at their own level. Meet them at their own level. Let it be gradual. As you bring them up, they will come to that level which you want them to be. But it has to be gradual and incremental. I believe so.
Yeah, right. Thank you for sharing that. So I think there was a time I also worked with a student, but he wasn't a special education needs student. He was just a student that was suffering from low self esteem. So there was a day I walked past his class. So I think okay, it was a border. So I walked around this hostel that night, and I saw him just sitting doing nothing. But I opened one of his books while checking around him. I opened one of his books. I saw like a sketchbook, and then I saw what this boy had sketched. If you see the drawings, I saw beautiful drawing, beautiful images, and I was like, "Wow!" I think his name was William. I was like, "William, you're so good." At first, the boy was looking at me like, "What are you telling me?" Someone that has obviously been suffering from that has been experiencing bullying from little friends around him. He had been what can I say, it was written all over him that this boy had low self-esteem. It was written all over because he was not always cheerful. He wasn't always ready to answer questions in classrooms. He wasn't always ready to lend a helping hand. He just wanted to be all by himself. But the day I opened the sketchbook and I had to exclaim. I was like, William, you can build on this. He first looked at me in a funny way, but later on, the following day, I think he came to meet me the following day with his old sketchbook. I was like, "Oh, look at my book! Look at my book! Look at what I drew! Look at it!" I was like, "Yeah, go on, go on! You can do it! You can do it!" So, I, in a way, um, encouraged him to keep doing it. So as a teacher, we just have as teachers rather we have a whole lot to do. We have a whole lot, so we shouldn't see it as something we can just come, get paid at the end of the month. I think the future of some of these children depends on our end. I think I read a story also of is it Albert Einstein? I think his teacher wrote in his report that he was a poor student. I don't know. Are you familiar with that story, Mr. Damilare?
Yeah,
Mr. Damilare?
yeah.
Okay. His teacher wrote in
Teachers'
his report
brains
that he
go
wasn't.
no, they cannot amount to anything. Okay, well,
Yeah,
you see how
exactly.
it turned out. Someone believed in him.
Exactly. Just because I think his mom took it up. His mom took it up and
Yes,
then started homeschooling him, and he became one of the
homeschooling
greatest
and
scientists of our
telling
time.
him you are
Yeah,
good, you are this, you are smart, you are
yeah,
intelligent, you can do
true,
whatever
true.
you set your mind
So
on.
imagine,
And with
yeah, exactly. So imagine if the mother wasn't there for him. Imagine if his mother wasn't there. Imagine if family wasn't there. I'm sure many talents, many potentials has been wasted simply because of probably one word from a teacher or one word from a student, a fellow classmate, and all that. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been so wonderful. I've learned so much, and I'm sure many others have done too. Although I was expecting some text from our listeners, but I didn't receive anything. So probably next time. But before we move on to wrap up the show, I want to ask: is there anything else on your mind to tell teachers? Because all what we've been saying all day is that these students to maximize their potentials, we all have a part to play. Parents have their part to play. Teachers in the school, administrators, everyone that comes in contact with the students all have parts to play. So, is there any other thing you would like to tell us before we move on?
oh, I think uh, we should not overprotect our learners or students. Okay, let us give them platforms to make mistakes. Okay,
Why did you
when
say
they
that?
make mistakes, they will. Yes, if they don't make mistakes, they will not learn. Okay, if you want them to be perfect at the start, okay, so but give them platform first time. Okay, you still need to keep pushing. All right, keep pushing, simple goals for them. If they achieve that, they will just move on and or that. But if it set challenging goals for them, as they try to achieve those goals, they will learn through the process. They will learn through the process, and the skills they're going to learn will be lifelong. Will be lifelong. It will stay with them much more than what we're going to teach them in class. Resilience, determination, being courageous, they can learn it while trying out different things, different challenges or tasks in the class or in school. Okay, let them organize events. Let events fail or let it have some shortcomings. Through that process, they will learn that things don't really go sometimes things don't go well the way you plan it, but you still keep going, you still keep forging ahead, even when. So what I'm just saying, we should not overprotect them. Let them learn. Learning by experience, it in maximizing their potentials. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love your point. I really love it because I know of a student that I love what you said about parents not should stop overprotecting their children. I know of a student that the mother was always, or let me say the parents were always the ones deciding what he does or what she does, the subject to pick, the subject combinations, the parents get to pick all these things. And then eventually when this girl got to university, she found it difficult, to pick as low as an elective course, if you get what I mean. This student, are you with me?
I understand.
Yeah, this student couldn't even select what she could offer in a university, simply because the parents had been
Imagine.
overprotective. They've been picking subjects, picking things. So when she was on her own, if she found it difficult to do so, I really love that. So parents, if you're listening, teachers, let's stop overprotecting these students, these children. Allow them make mistakes. True, because there's a saying that experience is the best teacher. When such a student experience some things, then I'm sure they get to learn and unlearn, relearn so many things. So thank you, Mr. Damlari, once again. I can't thank you enough for doing this with us. We hope that next time we call you, you would be available. um Will you?
I'll gladly take up the opportunity. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you. Thank
inviting me.
you.
You've been listening to Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live and listen back at ttradio.org. We look forward to hearing from you next time on Teachers Talk Radio.